Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's Saturday today. Yes, weekend. Happy Saturday. Uh, let's see. I unfortunately won't be able to do a super long stream today because there's a lot of stuff going on. I have a trip planned coming up, and I need to prepare for that. So let's see. I didn't set any of this stuff up. Dota, hello. How are you doing today? Let's set all this stuff up. Wrong Docker. Okay, so I want Docker Compose. That one. Supercuber, hello. Pretty good here. Nice, excellent. Um, let's see. Also, Supercuber, how are you doing? Nathan, Denver-based Rustation here. It would be awesome to have more meetups. I am so sorry about that. I just got overwhelmed with stuff, and it was so hard to find people to talk at the meetups. And so I don't know. I'm letting it lapse. It's sad. I know. I'm sorry. Oh no! Don't talk. Okay. Go have fun over there. Yeah. So like maybe someday. Maybe someday. Okay, you went to the last one at Mersive. Yeah, I think that was the last. That was the last meetup. Yeah. So those of you who may not know, I did run the Rust Denver meetup for like I don't know a while, but then it just sort of dried up, and trying to find talk speakers is really hard. Um, and this was even after the pandemic. I think it's just right now. It's just things. Everybody's just feeling overwhelmed, and it's really tough to get people to like do stuff. And then on top of it, for me, I'm like, I don't have the time to like advertise the meetup and go find sponsors and go find other stuff. And so like, yeah, I couldn't find anybody to do something. Your group sometimes does lightning talks where you give a 7-minute talk. Yeah, that's um those are good too. It's tough to find somebody. There's a lot of beginners also in Rust, and it's tough convincing beginners that they can talk. Soapy, hi. What do you want? Oh, you knocked the camera over. Okay, and then Soapy, do you want to hang out? No? I don't have any toys to throw with him. Oh, there's like 5 to 6 organizers here and they rotate. They just slowly went down. Like it's just over time, slowly. It's I think it's just something we noticed in Denver. It's rough. Like at this point, there's only two tech meetups now that are active and going. There's the React Denver meetup, and then the Vue.js meetup is restarted. And so that's nice, but it's still like it's rough. And I don't count the happy hour because that's just literally a happy hour. That's yeah, the Denver devs meetup, the happy hour meetup. I mean, there's no talks ever. It's all just like, hey, let's hang out, drink, and try to forget about our woes, and a lot of networking too. Nathan, you work in full time in Kotlin. It would be nice to work Rust full time one day. If so, kind of funny if I ever was to quit my job and to like to do something like teaching Rust and all this stuff, then I would be then I would be working with Rust full time. That'd be like a real making my own job type thing, wouldn't it? Stacking. Hello, good morning. More and more streamers are moving to Denver. You guys are starting to turn into the Silicon Valley. You should have tons of meetups. I mean, I think that's the other problem is like a lot of streamers. I mean, I'm assuming it's based upon myself. Uh, like we do streams, and then it's like, okay, do we want to do more stream type stuff after the stream? I don't know. I don't know. What maybe it should be, and this was so Kyle from the Develop Denver conference, his plan had been to set up a like sort of a tech hub sort of help thing where they would, as the conference, be organizing and running and doing a lot of stuff. So it's like, hey, you need a speaker for like Rust type stuff. Hey, we have this like huge audience and we can grab them for you. And we have sponsors that are just like in the books lined up. Okay, we'll sponsor you and we'll forward that sponsor. And so that's what the plan was for that. But unfortunately, COVID came along and just killed the conference. It was dead after 1 year, which is really unfortunate because that was the best conference I've ever been to. I think only 1 year was like only one time that I go that I didn't speak. Like every other time, like I always try to make sure that I would be speaking there because it's just so good. The local conference where you are turned into a security conference. Interesting. That tends to happen too, doesn't it? Like they morph into just whatever's popular, whatever's needed at the time. Oh, you're going to be at the RestConf in Albuquerque? I think I saw emails about that. I mean, it sounds good. I don't also have the money to like go travel around for conferences. But that would be fun sometime too to go and do that. So you got a KVM switch and it's amazing. Which KVM switch do you get? Because I have never had good luck with them. Like even when I was a sysadmin, we had like the big expensive KVMs for the server boxes. They constantly would have to like go and replug them in and play around with them. It was never that great of an experience. It was on Amazon. Well, I mean, I figured it was Amazon, but like maybe on the Discord or something, you can put a link to it. Um, uh, if you don't feel comfortable doing that here. Oh, you know what? You could send it to me something, and I'll take a look at it because I think. Oh no, you're a VIP. You can do it. You can do it. I trust you that it'll be a real link. Um, uh, you can give a Rust Android talk, but that's pretty niche and not sure people would be interested. Um, I mean, that's the thing is like it's getting tough to like find like talks to like interest a lot of people. Uh, Nathan, if you're in Denver, are you a member of any of the several Denver devs discords that have popped up? Let me look at. There's a couple here that I think might be good for that. So let's see. There's Colorado Tech Community. I think that's the one. Colorado Tech Community, and there's a Rust channel in there. Oh, you're not in any Discord groups. Okay. Yes, there's the there's a Discord group for like just tech in Colorado, and there's a Rust channel in there, and that's where that's where like several people that I chat with about Rust are in the local community. And that could be a place to do, like, to organize a small, like, just sort of one-off meetup. Just organize to just go try to go out and meet somewhere and figure something out. All right. Oh, I left myself with error, like lots of errors, didn't I? Steven, what do I do when I have no energy? That is, well, welcome to the club. So, um, oh, thank you, Nathan. Uh, well, thanks for stopping by and saying hello. Ooh, okay. Wait, KVM. Let's go take a look at this KVM. We first make sure Amazon doesn't try to dox me. Oh, cool. I'm not logged in. So it's a 2-port USB 3 KVM switch. Okay, it is powered. That's good. Nice. Wait, are those all um oh, what is that? That's those are all display ports, aren't they? Yeah, so you have two display out port out, and then you just have display port in. Oh, wait. Do you have a Oh, that's cool. Okay. So 8K. Okay. 30 hertz. Okay. So you're limited to, oh, but you can go for, same. That's the other problem, is like good ones are so expensive. DisplayPort plus HDMI, HDMI. This would be it. HDMI, USB 3 out. It's even more expensive. You didn't want to be that guy that linked the $400 KVM switch, but yeah, and this is the problem that KVM switches have, is like, unless you're going really 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 expensive like this, it's not, like, they're not worth it. Like, the cheap ones just don't do it. So I will, well, I'll keep, I'm gonna add that to my other browser over here. I will keep that over there, and maybe add it to a wish list, and maybe buy it someday long in the future. I think the guy that linked mine works for Amazon, and he recommended spending money. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna work for Amazon, and you're, I mean, yeah, for a KVM, you should go expensive, right? Like, KVMs need the money. Steven, your bot. Oh, wait. You know what? I completely forgot your question. Was it Steven? Was it you who said that? Okay, yeah, Steven. You asked, "What do I do when I have no energy?" And then also, my boss says you're not ready for a promotion. So I mean, those are probably linked, right? Like, you got told that, and now you're feeling you have no energy. Level 3. What's that out of? Or rather, hold on. I've got a better one. What was it? It's was it the Mozilla? The Mozilla Career Tech they still have it up? Okay, so maybe not that one. Let's do Circle CI. I think they have a good one. Is it this one? Okay. I just Yeah, okay. It's this one. They probably change this all the time too. Uh so uh-oh, uh-oh. What was that? Oh, it was like a levels where you're comparing all these things. I don't think I've ever looked at this. Hold on, what's levels? Okay. Does it actually Oh, so it doesn't really explain what they are. It just says like, "Hey, here's levels and then what they pay for in general." So, okay, you think you're like a level 3. Uh you have 9 years of experience. Oh, no, Dota you have 9 years. You have 4 to 5 years of experience. Dota you're a software engineer level 2. I'm on more of the management track, so I wouldn't necessarily be on any of these lists. I would be going closer to a like a department. Um, if I was at a larger company or a company that had more team members, I would be in the what is it called? Not manager, but like the next level up. It would be. Oh, is there a tab for manager? Oh, there it's up here. Oh no, not that one. You have a tab for manager? Where is that? Am I just completely? Oh, product manager, software engineering manager. So I would be probably a director. But it's a startup, so I don't have multiple teams to work over. So therefore cannot be a director. But okay. So anyways, this page. I like this one. Yeah, titles don't always match job responsibilities and pay. Definitely not pay. Especially for startups like mine, not going to match like what you see, especially when you're comparing companies like these. Like no way. No way. You mostly just want to the pay to match. It's so hard to do. Like unless it's these companies. Okay, so Steven, the feedback on how he gave me to improve was just wrong. So you don't know how to improve. So step one for anything is create your own career ladder. Uh, so it sounds like after a few years, you've got some experience. So you've got like 4 to 5 years under your belt. You're not like a beginner anymore. You're like solidly in there. So that means to me, it's time for you to like create your own career ladder. Don't rely upon these at all because they're just like it's just weird and these don't really tell you anything either. That's the other problem. Something like this where you can say, "Oh, Okay, so like here we have technical skills, quality and testing, writing code, like figure out like if you wanted to steal the um Circle CI one, that's fine too. That's what we did at my work is we used this one as a template and then we built on it to create ours. And then you figure out where you are in yours. Like maybe you customize it and tweak it. Make sure it has more than just technical stuff. So for example, if I zoom out on this, uh, no, I'm not trying to open delete. I'm trying to zoom out. What? Why did they make? Okay, you know, Google. Why you do this? So we can see here, technical skills is all of this. But then after it, it's like, okay, we got delivery stuff. Um, we've got like feedback, collaboration, leadership, strategic impact. Like there's a lot that's not programming in here. You're in a weird situation anyhow because the states pay more than Canada. Hold on, I missed a bunch. Uh I don't think most people do. Okay. Your company just got off of proprietary stuff to technology you've worked in a long time. Okay, so they're moving away from proprietary to technology that you've worked on. So that's good. As far as getting promotions, it's either getting hired on another company at a higher level or having staying power at your current company will get you something. It's really unfortunate, but the state of the world right now is that it's super hard to get promotions. And it's one of those things where like if you need more pay, you want more pay, and your current company isn't giving it to you, I wouldn't try that hard. Like you try a little bit, but you already tried now, and they told you no. So at this point, switching to a new company is probably going to be the way you get that promotion in money and title. Although companies are pretty fast to give you unofficial titles that make you feel good. I've noticed that. So Dota, you're in a weird situation because the states pay you more than Canada. Are you in Canada but working in the U.S. like remote? Because that sounds good, right? If they only see you lasting a few years there, it may be hard to get more money. This is something that is really rough. I don't have a copy of the book here with me, but there's a book called Widgets, which has the subtitle of uh, the subtitle is manage like how to manage your employees as if they're real people, which is sort of a glib like it sort of sets the tone for the entire book too. And it's not written for Gen Z. It was written for the millennial generation. And it's basically like, hey, how do you like what would happen if like things like the internet got you continued to get even bigger and like there's all this sharing and social media around and what's going to happen then? Maybe we should probably treat workers as people because if we don't, like that will get shared out a lot and we might have some kind of massive correction in the market where people just start quitting their jobs. So yeah, he totally predicted and said we're going to have lots of people quitting. Sounds familiar? It's exactly what is happening. You found corporate has more promotions than startup culture also, but I don't know if that's true. Okay, so what I've seen in corporate, and by corporate we're meaning like government and larger positions, is yes, they do have a lot of promotions, but they also have arbitrary rules around those promotions. So something like, okay, let's say you are level I think it's weird, let's go backwards. Okay, so we're level, let's go back to engineer. You're level 1. To get to level 2, you must have worked here, not just in the industry. You must have worked here for 1 year. After 1 year, then you're up for promotion, but you're in a pool of candidates who all have like the same promotion. So we have to decide between you. And then we promote those specific people. And now if you did not get promoted, you'll have to wait for another year to get promoted. If you were promoted, then you're not eligible for another promotion for 2 years or something like that. I see that all the time in larger companies. Startups generally don't follow those rules, but if you get people like operations officers or like C-level people that come from large companies, they usually attempt to bring that kind of culture in, which is not great. Government, I don't blame quite as much for it because government government's weird. It's like, okay, we promoted these people and now we're spending more money on our people, and then everybody just gets pissed off because the government is spending money on stuff that they don't want them to spend on, which is like, okay, come on. So anyways, back to this. If you follow this and you figure out where you are, so like, okay, I am, if you define this to yourself and customize this to the path you want to get to. So like, let's say you want to get to principal engineer, then like figure out, like if you figure out all the different steps to it and you figure out where you are right now, then uh then you can figure out, okay, how do I get there? Because here's another thing that I've noticed. Companies will tell you where you are based upon not what your skills actually are, but what they want you to accept. Does that make sense? It's kind of almost like gaslighting. We're like, oh no, based upon your interviews and what we can pay, we believe that you're an engineer and not a senior engineer. So therefore, we're you're kind of come on as engineer. So you got you got 2 L4 strong hired in your interview. That's nice. Jobs are really so it's really weird. I chatted and I saw some articles and some like other people from then down level to L3. That yeah, that's a whole nother level. But again, this is why it's really important to keep this yourself, right? Don't let the company define what your level is, because every company is going to define it differently and they have motivations to put you in certain levels that you may not agree with. And it's really important to sort of have an idea of what you are so they can't just gaslight you into saying, hey, yeah, you're really an associate engineer even though you have 4 to 5 years of experience. You're like, nah, you're an associate. I don't, we and then but then if you press them and you figure it out, it's actually because they don't just want to pay you that much. It's hard to care about improvement when promotion isn't a carrot dangled. Oh yeah, absolutely. I can here. I will link this. Um so yes, I think that the realizing that the career, like the entire community uses these things in different ways. Like good companies, good cultures will use these as ways to like help you like figure out, okay, where are you? Okay, let's figure out how to get you to the next level. That's really important there. But some companies, I would argue probably more than the good ones, use this as more of a weapon. It's like kind of more weaponized against you than for you. And that's when you get into things where they just like, oh no, I'm sorry, you can't get that promotion. Here's how to improve, and then they give you something that won't actually help. And it's not that they're doing it on purpose. It's just that that's the problem. Like it just sucks. The management in engineering, well, management everywhere, but also engineering just isn't very good. And there's not very many good of us engineering managers that actually care and try. So that's the problem. Okay, intrinsic motivation to answer your first question. Um, yeah, it's got to be intrinsic motivation. Figure out a way to like internally motivate you. Again, another reason why you would want to keep one of these yourselves, right? Because you may notice, hey, I am now in this level here, and I was previously over here. I'm getting paid for this, and they call me this. But based upon the metrics that I'm gathering for myself, I am here, which then lets you know, okay, it's time for me to go find another job. If they're not going to promote me, I'm going to find another job now. You're being pointed into grinding lead code. Get good at algos instead of good at software dev. Well, I mean, the interviewing is weird. It my last interviewing, because it was a management position, it didn't involve any coding whatsoever for the interviewing, which I thought was super interesting. Is like, oh, the second you start leaving engineering itself, it becomes hey, just chat, and it becomes so much easier. Until then, yeah, I mean, it's just that's a thing that sucks is that a lot of people do algorithm interviews. And if you don't want to manage, then you're going to stay in like they're still going to do that kind of stuff. Maybe it's not leak code. They might have like architecture type stuff that you do. To me, that was the most fun of the interviews that I've ever done were architectures or I did one that was sort of like they're clearly checking for growth mindset to see what can I grow, can I handle things that I don't know how to do, can I do that stuff, and so that was a lot of fun too. But basically, you just know what people wanted. Okay, system assignment you get 50% of the time. Um, oh, what the fuck is system design? Uh, you never know what people are talking about. So, um, for me, like systems design is like it's super vague, and that's one of the reasons why it's so good. Is it's they want you to talk to the people that are interviewing and sort of collaborate together. I mean, unless they don't really know what they're doing, to attempt to design what the sort of like code looks like from a very high level. And maybe not even code. It might not be code, it might be more of like the DevOps flow or the flow of data through the system to see whether or not you understand how programming and architecture works from a very high level. So yeah, so like okay, make Twitch. And so it's like, okay, we're gonna have like, you know, what? You have a streamer that like streams and they send a stream of data, right? Into something. And you don't necessarily need to know how it works at a very technical level. But then it's like, okay, well, what's gonna happen when you have 1,000 streamers at the same time? You can't just have like 10 systems that are just ingesting that, right? It has to now like handle all these different things. So thinking about like what are the repercussions of technical decisions when you scale at each level, and then also just how you work together and come up with plans. So when you say something and then they say, but how about this, and they change on you, do you get really upset? Is it really hard for you to handle that kind of change? If we're neurodivergent, it's actually quite possible for like us to maybe get into like an argument or get really set on something, or maybe just sort of like go off and wander off in a different direction because that's how our brains are working. They're sometimes testing to see, can you work with us in the way we want you to work. You'd make Twitch by making a login page initially, then some sort of interface to view a single stream. I believe you just invented Justin TV. Fun fact, that's how Twitch was invented. Like, that's literally what it was. That was Justin TV. That was some guy named Justin made a streaming service that was just him. And then later on it was like, oh, I need to like do more. Oh, you think your problem is you don't believe in system design. Oh, and Super Kabir. What people mean by system design is more like, I would have a server in each region we serve. The streamer would upload to the closest, and it'll transmit to the rest of the servers. It's like super, like DevOps architecture level. Think of that, like DevOps architecture. On a coding level, I don't think code. Yes, it's not about code. This is about this is so one of the reasons I really like systems design interviews is it's clearly the company asking, can you think outside of the code that you'd be writing? Can you think about how your little thing would affect somebody in like a different country or something else, like other parts of the system? So we don't do that, but we should think about it. Like, we should always have it on our mind of like, well, if we introduce something that forces, like, okay, how about this? If we make a tech decision and we write some code that is incompatible with trying to think about like how to say this. It forces you to have a stateful server, let's say, as opposed to maybe like a stateless server. At that point, you just made it so that it's now you can't use a load balancer with a round robin system where every time they hit it, they get a different server. It now has to be that specific server. And that affects the design of the system. Potentially positive, potentially negative, but knowing what the systems are, knowing what your customers need, and knowing how that might affect it would change what decisions you make at the specific coding level. So, would I expect a junior developer to know and understand this? No, absolutely not. Would I expect a mid-level or above to at least start thinking about it? Even if they're wrong, I would expect the mid-level to at least have an opinion, uh, or at least a guess. And then after that, maybe going to senior level, I would start expecting like they need to know what that's going to be. Because like if as a senior level you're making decisions and it's hurting the system as a whole, that's you're not helping. You're hurting more. You're like costing more money than your salary is worth, and that's not good. Okay, so anyways, as a recap for all of this, you would find out where you are in this. You would just either take this one yourself or create a new one using this as a template or something else. Don't worry, like don't worry about the fact that the technical skill is really small as to this, because this is not something about, oh, you can do these algorithms, because that's actually not how you get promotions and new jobs. Oh, and I never okay. So, if you can figure out and you have this on yourself, um then, and this comes back to the intrinsic stuff. Now all of the things about like who you are, how good you are, they're now owned by you. And they're not somebody else telling you, "Hey, you have this worth. You are this thing. They can tell you that, but if you have an intrinsic, if you have an internal way to determine how valuable you are, um, you use that to protect yourself, and then just like, okay, I am this good. I am great. And also, I am going to like do what I need to do to be motivated. And then something that Dota is mentioning, there's a lot of talks online about intrinsic motivation. Let's see, where is it? What do I have any books down here on this? Um, Not really. There's it gets it's definitely not in engineering books. It's more in project management, like personal management, leadership style type stuff. Motivation is really interesting. Okay, so you watch talks that motivate you. Obviously, it depends upon your interests. So, like, I would call those hype talks, right? Like, they hype you up and they get you going. And hype is great. Like, if that can get you the motivation that you need. So I guess in this case, if those aren't working for you and they have worked in the past, ask yourself what's different. And if it's only because you recently got denied for promotion, they gave you a bullshit reason why, and now you're sitting here like thinking, well, this sucks. You know what? That's the reason. You just got like that. That's something. It's allowed to affect us. Um, the key is to figure out a way to move past it, and potentially turn it into anger and convert it into some kind of energy for you to then get motivated for the next step. Figure out that, which like life lessons, like that's literally how to like get motivated by anything negative. You hear a lot of people going like, they told me no, and so I decided that I would prove to them, otherwise, and they get super motivated. I don't know why. Why do managers? Okay, my mentor has this great quote. I don't know if he got it from someone else, but I totally true. Management is hard, ergo most managers suck at it. That's it. Occam's razor. It's a hard task. Management is hard, and so few people in management positions are trained on management. They're not taught how to manage. There's this theory, you see it in government a lot, but you see it in large organizations like government, big companies. You also see it elsewhere. I forget exactly the technical term for it, but it's the idea that you're promoted until you fail. You basically, oh, you're really good at this thing. Okay, we're going to promote you into management. They don't know how to manage. They're really good at something, at being an individual contributor. And so they promote you. And then it's, okay. Now they suck as management and they just like destroy the entire job. They didn't even want to be a manager necessarily, but that was the only way they were going to get more money. And so therefore they took it. And it's just like, really? This sucks. So, like, to me, I want to be a manager. My initial reason for being a manager was because there was no good managers. And I'm like, well, I guess if nobody else is doing it, I'm going to fucking do it and do a good job. And now it's like, okay, everybody else sucks at this, it feels like. So, but I mean, it's not true because I have now seen other people grow into these management skills. It just takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. You're not sure that Kuber has the prerequisite amount of cynicism. You want to know the best way to be a terrible manager and destroy everybody's motivation? Just remove people's autonomy. Tell them what to do. This is the easiest way to to make people hate their job. Just tell them what to do and how to do it. We'll just downgrade you. Well, I mean, you mean downgrade in pay. We're still going to put Kuber into that management position that would be a 4, but because you didn't have this one little metric, we're going to make sure that you're paid at a 3, but we're not going to remove the responsibilities of the 4. Also, we let go half your staff, so you're also going to have to program at the same time. So please be a manager and a programmer and do both those jobs together at the same time. Don't forget, we're supposed to smile at the company. A smile means things are good. I think I just described like every toxic culture out there. Also, if you see any of that, like, you just run. So best companies will not only have like this is for engineer type stuff. There's we did not, okay, so we created an ours management track too. So you can say like, hey, if you want to be manager, is this completely different thing? If you want to be a developer, there's just ways to do it. Have I paired any? Um, pair programming? Oh yeah, absolutely. Pair and mob programming. I do both. I do both, and any tips? I don't have it here. So there's a lot of good pair programming type. Was there a book? Not a book. It's the Mob Programming YouTube channel. They have a lot of really good tips that I like. Okay, so general idea. One person drives. They have their hands on a keyboard. Everyone else is looking at the same monitor. So that's the pair. Is like one person on their keyboard doing this stuff. So actually think about this, right? Like, I've got the computer here. I'm programming. Now, all of you would be mobbing with me, right? Like anything more than 2 is a mob instead of a pair or a swarm or whatever you want to call it. And so in a normal pair, I would actually not do anything. You would just all tell me what to do. Part of the mob. So it's not really pairing in this like what I do normally here because I'm just doing it and you're watching. But imagine if this was a mob, then I, as the navigator, as the driver, I'm not allowed to do anything. I am just the one who implements what you all tell me to do. That makes sense. So, for example, you all would then say, "Hey, can we, an example? Let's say we have this situation right here. What's the next step? Like, what should we do?" And just like actually, like one of you throw it out. Well, what should you do? Delete all of our code. Why? As the driver, I do get the ability to veto. Steven, yeah, you're not in a super great mood. But it's okay. It's okay to be really pissed off. Because we are moving to new technology. This is Rust. This is new technology. For absolutely no reason. Okay. Steven, deep breath, okay? They're pissing you off and it's fine. Like it's like absolutely stupid stuff. Move the camera so I can read the air. Here's what I'll do. I will full screen that. And now it should be a little bit easier to read. Think of how good it will look on a resume. That's another thing. Is like a good manager will not just move to new technology arbitrarily. Like they may not. They may be the rest of the company or whatever may disagree with them, but they should always have a reason given, and not just because I said so. One dev writes the test, the other writes the production code. That's another way to do. You're gonna try ping pong technique next parent. Oh. Wait, somebody showed me this. Now I forgot where it is. There was the dev pairing exercise. It was shared in like Discord, wasn't it? What was it? Also I misspelled exercise. Dev pairing exercise. It was like a kata almost. No, not that. Hi, Zilby. Welcome back. It's going to take too long to find out where it was. Another variant of because I said so is because it's cleaner or because it's best practice. People don't realize that it's not a valid reason. Yeah, though that's like oh, no, you just want to lie down. Okay. I won't bother him. He's below. He's right below this. It's the reason why the best teams are self-managed, and then the manager is sort of outside of it, and then the teams are like the manager manages the team, not the people, if that makes sense. Uh, it's a very subtle change on the management side, but it results in extremely high quality content to code. Okay, well this let's see. Can I find logout? Okay, so let's see if we can fix some of these errors today. Uh, create article. Can I find auth store? Did I? Oh, I did change that. Why are you showing no errors here and you're sharing errors here? That's weird. Okay, so line 24. Yeah, so we don't have an auth store anymore. Next would be login, right? Oh, okay. So now you're upset. Auth that. Okay, so only authors can create. Okay, so we have our main store. Oh, this will be one way again. Store dot clone. Okay, we're going to move that in there. We got the weird red stuff in the middle of use effect. That's okay. Okay, so I want to check. So it's not going to be. It's not going to be this. So we want to check to see if we're finished loading and if we're the author. So this is the course articles. Okay, so if Sylvie, hi. I might have to go eventually to go take care of him, whatever he needs. Okay, so this is store dot. Okay, so if your store dot offloaded is equal to a BB loading state loaded, and so okay, we're fully loaded, and store dot user is author. Okay, so if you're not an author, then main store alert the error. We do this, and then we go home. Okay. Next up is could not find alerts in stores. Line what? 16? No, line 24. Of app. Cannot find function logout URL. Oh, right. Okay, so we need to recreate and figure out where the logout URL is. Did I lose that? It's not there. This would be maybe. Yeah, I think I may have accidentally gotten rid of that. So there's this uploaded. So I probably want to do something like pub logout URI, or I guess a URL in this case because it actually is just a URL. I can make this an attribute value, which I think implements default. No, okay, this can't be that. It has to be a function, then, doesn't it? So we can do a function here. So we can say for main store, we can do pub function logout URL. This will be an attribute value. And then I need to remember how to create that because apparently I deleted that. That's cool. Now, Auth0 has this in their documentation. Okay, so logout, it's a GET request. Oh yeah, we just send them to this. So it's going to be our domain, which I want to say is, I have this in my like .env. Okay, so do I have something like dot env bang. I do. Okay, so this is how I can grab those. Yeah, none of them are for. None of them are for that thing. That's great. Um. Okay. 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 I need to go take a look at that. Okay, I have a auth0 domain, and that includes what we're expecting to get. So oh, how was it before? Let's okay, so I can do static the thing, it's a stir equals dot env and then the thing. Okay. So static auth0 domain, which is a stir equal to dot env. I want, did I copy this correctly? Okay. So that should give me you. And now I want to do a attribute value from auth0 domain. Okay, so I can give you, we're going to go to app. So we have the main store there. So then I should be able to do, oh, you need to be, ooh, too many. Okay, let's do, what do you need? Stir. Okay, that should be pretty simple. We're going to do a main store. Oh, it's not main store. It's just store. So it's not going to be that. I need the logout URL and then as stir. Okay. All right, because this thing automatically just logs us out right here, which is fine. Oh, wait, you know what? That's not even the actual logout URL. The logout URL starts with that. So I need like to format. Oh, wait, no. Okay, that's correct. So we start with this. And then I want to go to this /v2 logout. Okay. Ooh, but I need this too. So it's get. So these are query parameters. So I need to return to. So what is that? And no, question mark, return to equals, I need this to be my app of where I am. There's a, okay, so I can use this. I can create an environment variable for this. Or I could find out, oh, log out redirect. I have that already. So that's actually this thing right here. Does Rust not Analyzer not know that I can do that in a format? This is all one color. So maybe, oh, maybe it's Helix that doesn't know that I could do this inside of a format. So that could be a thing. Okay, so that's the return to. Oh, I need the client ID. Okay, get the client ID here. Throw you in. Okay, so here let's try this. This will be a little bit better. I'll yank you out. How to go to end? Not last line. Go to line end. There it is. Paste you in. Okay, what's next? So we have return to, and then federated, add this query string parameter to the log out URL to log the user out of their identity provider as well, which I don't want to do. So it should be this. So that's going to return you. Do not find alerts in stores. Okay, so login. So login is now yelling at us. Did I fix you? I did not fix you. Okay, so this one, I think we could just do store dot. You need this. You need the main store. You need dispatch. So something's moving in here. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, this is the first error here. Something is moving in here when it shouldn't be moving in, so it's therefore causing problems. I see main store. Okay, I see dispatch is mostly the thing. I see it being used multiple times in here. Is dispatch being used? Dispatch is being used in here too. So okay, so same pattern. So I can take you, throw you here, and then I need these dispatches. And we'll clone you. Okay. Next up is login. Now, am I getting real errors? I am. Okay, so okay, so stores alerts. Yes, you don't exist anymore, and auth store doesn't exist anymore. Which means we don't need you, but we do need the store. Okay, so this is the login page. It's also 9:30. I started, how long have I been streaming? I don't have too long today, unfortunately, because I need to I unfortunately have a lot of things I need to prepare for. So maybe a few more minutes, and then I may have to call it. Let's save you. Okay. Login URI. Do I have a? Oh, I need to create the login URI too. Okay. Well, that is. Now, something I can do here. I'm having to create this multiple times, potentially. I wonder if it would. So something I can do. I could say, okay, the first time we call this, we'll have a pub. It's logout URI. It's an option with an attribute value. And then I'll do the same thing. So pub login URI option attribute value. And then for you, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set this. Oh, I can't do that. Never mind. I mean, I could if I use the dispatch, but I don't want to mutate. I was going to use that as a caching system to like, oh, let me cache so I don't have to create it multiple times. But I realized like, yeah, let's just not worry about that. Let's not worry about that. Okay, so login URI. So okay, so the login URI, when I go to login right now, I could just set it new. I probably could. Well, I don't have a new. I have to manually implement. So there's no new, unfortunately. So I have to manually implement it in the store in default. And I'm just being lazy. That's all for that. I almost wish that I could I could have a pattern where I could override the default for one thing as opposed to override the default for everything and then say everything like, okay, everything else is default. I almost feel that I could do that, but it's not big. Like it's enough of a hassle that I'm like, I'm just not going to implement default. So I think we're starting with login like this, right? So new type and implement default for it. Yes, I could do a wrapper type around that and then have it deref into the appropriate thing. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Because then I can throw it into the types too. Now, what type of you? What type of? Oh, I wish I could scroll down there, but I don't know how to do that yet. So this is the link for the login URI. Do I have like? Is there any other? Oh, literally, this like username and password is the only type of login that I have. Okay, good. So that makes things easier. Falcon, hello. What do I think about Yew compared to React? There's not really much of a difference. Yew and React, well, I mean, Yew is designed like pretty much from React, except with the limitations of like it works in Rust. So there's some changes here and there to make it work with Rust a little bit better, but I like I like Yew a lot. I like React. Um, Technically, I like Vue more than React when I'm working in a web interface. I think that there's some patterns here that Rust forces with Vue that makes some of those things more Vue like. So therefore, I'm all for it. So, um, I think the big thing is that with you already getting pretty significant speed boosts compared to React, except in the like one or two areas, I'm really looking forward to when they eventually get to the place where they start optimizing it, because then we can get to then there can be some interesting speed discussions. Have you used the Vue at all? How do you feel about it? Okay, so I could potentially even throw some of these things in there. That would make it more interesting too. Okay, you never, but you've used Rust with Actix and TypeScript React. Okay, yeah, I've used TypeScript React too. I did like that a lot more than just React. So basically, think of TypeScript React, but with like the Rust type system as opposed to the TypeScript type system, and you pretty much have you pretty much. Um, there's some problems in the comparison. So first of all, React is significantly faster development wise. So like the compile time for TypeScript React is faster than the compile time for you with Trunk. You've TypeScript Vue. Yeah, I've used TypeScript Vue too. It's not half bad at all. I like TypeScript Vue a lot. Um, I like and I think that the two things I like out of Vue that I would love to see in a framework here, which there might be in one of those other frameworks, I haven't checked them out yet, is the Vue has the upwards event system. So I kind of can do that pretty easily with the property system here and some options, or some default stuff. I think that works really well. So I'm not worried about that. And then the other one is the computed properties in Vue are just magic. I love them. I haven't seen anything quite like that in React or elsewhere yet. Okay, so what is this? This is log in. Yeah, the get set computed stuff is really cool. Exactly, and that's one of my that's what I like. Hey, mouse, mouse. Uh-oh. Oh no. Really? Oh right. My mouse just ran out of batteries and I don't have the cable for charging it down here. So uh I am now using a trackpad. Okay, I could use this, but it's really annoying. I think what I'll do is I'll create this URL, but I'm probably gonna call it because I need to go like charge stuff and do other things. So uh a distracted day today. All right, so first of all, it goes to that goes to this. I kind of want to throw that in the store too. I don't know if I need that in the store. I have these other things though. It's like, okay, so if we do this is gonna be the auth 0 domain. Okay, so auth 0 domain, and then slash authorize. And then I have oh, this is a get request. Okay, so it's a request parameters. So then it's going to be question mark. We're going to have response type. Use code for server-side flows and token for application. Okay, so we want token. So equals token. And client ID. Okay. Connection. The name of the connection configured to your application. If null, it will redirect to the Auth0 login page and show the login widget using the first database connection. I only have one. Leptos has use memo, but using it is kind of an anti-pattern since signals know when a variable changes and only update that said variable. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like when I get to Leptos and learn it, there's going to be a lot of learning for that because I've never used anything that uses signals, like in JavaScript or otherwise. So that's going to be fun. I don't have the login for the connection, so I'm just going to leave that blank for right now. Redirect URI. Okay, so and redirect URI. Is it URI or URL? Yeah, URI equals I have that over here. Okay, so this is going to be auth 0 redirect URI.